Good morning, everybody. Mike Roybal here with IT Colorado. Sorry, I'm running a minute or two late. We're going to be talking a little bit today about the cybersecurity risk assessments, why they're important, why you should have one, and honestly, why it's a hidden key for the survival of your business. We don't talk about these risk assessments much as a standalone, but they're a very important ingredient for you guys to start moving forward and protecting your businesses properly. So let's see. I kind of want to, we talk about cybersecurity risk assessments, and this isn't really just an IT checklist. It's a way for your business to build a survival tool. So I would like you to think of this like your annual physical. If you go to the doctor annually, or if you don't get one, maybe you feel fine today, but there could be some major problems that are lurking under the surface. And this risk assessment, or these risk assessments, these are the health checkup for your business security. As many of you know, I am from IT Colorado. We operate, our headquarters are on the west side of Loveland. We serve northern Colorado, up and down I-25, up and down or across I-70. We even have clients in other states. But really, we're just here to bring this information to you. So thank you for joining me. So let's break this down a little bit more clearly. Cybersecurity risk assessment it's a structured, methodical way that we figure out exactly how exposed your business is to cyber threats. So it's not all about just running one tool or checking a few boxes. It's about taking a complete look at your business and asking some really key questions, like, what do we have that's valuable? This might be financial records, employee data, could be customer payment details, or in a lot of cases, intellectual property. We work with a lot of manufacturers, and they are building proprietary products. They really wouldn't want these things out there out in the open. And it's even about, the trust of your clients. That is something very, very valuable to protect. So another question is, where are we weak? Where are we exposed? Do we have outdated software? Are there gaps in the backup strategy? Are there employees that have not been through their cybersecurity training, or have been shown how to even recognize a phishing email? So what would happen, excuse me, what would happen if those weaknesses were exploited? Could you lose access to all of your systems for days? Could you face regulatory fines? A lot of industries are mandated to be providing certain services, and if they're not, they could get fined by the FTC or the IRS, or even the state that you might be working out of. And could you lose clients because of this breach? Are you going to be breaking the trust of your clients, and are they going to move elsewhere because something happened because of negligence? So when all of this is done right, this risk assessment, it doesn't just point out all the problems. It's going to paint a picture of your true security posture. So think of it this way. Imagine that your business is a castle, and a risk assessment is kind of like sending in an expert who walks the walls, they check the gates, they test the locks, they look for tunnels under the moat. They don't just say, hey, you've got walls. They say, here's the crack in the wall, here's the weak guard post, here's an enemy that might actually get in. That level of clarity, it's very priceless for your business. Too many businesses believe that they're safe until the first breach happens. And regulators, they're tightening these rules across all sectors. So if your company handles healthcare records, or maybe payment data or consumer information, you're going to be subject to, let's say, HIPAA or PCI compliance or the FTC safeguards rule. And there's a lot of other similar frameworks that a lot of industries are mandating get put in place. So after a breach, if you failed to prove that you did a proper risk assessment, that can mean more fines, it could mean lawsuits, and it could mean a loss of trust. The financial stakes are massive too. Cybercrime globally, it's projected to cost almost $12 trillion per year by next year. And even one ransomware event, it can force a small business. And there's a lot of us out there. I think like 80 or 85% of the businesses in the United States are considered small businesses. It can cause irreversible damage, millions in ransom, recovery, lost revenue, damage control. And then there's also the supply chain angle. So attackers are often reaching big targets by breaching smaller linked vendors. If you're in someone's supply chain, you could be a gateway, even if you aren't the headline of the breach. And then finally, insurance today, it often depends on proof of good security practices. So without a recent risk assessment, you might face denial of coverage or rejection of claims, especially when you need that protection the most. So skipping a risk assessment, it's not a matter of maybe, it's choosing to leave your business exposed, and that's negligence. A proper cybersecurity risk assessment, it's much more than just scanning the computers. So here's what it includes. It includes an asset inventory list. You can't protect what you don't know you have. Every server, every workstation, your databases, and even employee laptops or home computers that are being used to access the network, they need to be accounted for and they need to be considered as part of your company. Threat identification. Every business faces different kind of risks. A CPA firm, for example, they worry about stolen client data. A manufacturer, they worry about ransomware taking down their operations. So knowing which threats apply to you is a very key indicator. Vulnerability scanning and testing. So this is where the true technical work comes in. And there are tools and testing to help identify outdated software, weak passwords, misconfigurations in common software packages, and security gaps that attackers just love to exploit. There's a business impact analysis, and here's where it gets, very eye-opening. If your systems went offline for a week, what is it going to cost you? And if the customer data was exposed, what is it going to do to your reputation and to the bottom line of your business? This ties the cybersecurity directly to your bottom line, to your dollars and cents. It also involves a prioritized remediation plan. So this is the gold. Instead of a thick report that sits on a shelf, you get a roadmap that says fix these things first because they're the most critical. And then you move down the list as resources allow. So the end result, it's not fear, it's clarity and it's control. Now, mistakes in risk assessments often come down to mindset and execution, and it's not really the process itself. Many businesses treat an assessment like it's a one-off checkbox, that we're going to do it, we're going to file it away, and we're going to forget that the threats evolve constantly. Passing last year's test does not guarantee safety tomorrow. We all know that there are new threats every single day, and we need to be on top of this stuff. So focusing narrowly on technology, it's also going to undermine the effort that you're trying to put in. And your firewall could be configured perfectly. It's not going to stop a social engineering phishing email or a weak internal policy from going bad. So an effective assessment, it's going to account for people, it's going to account for the culture of your business, it's going to account for your workflows as much as servers and code. Some of the teams, they lean on compliance as their security goal. So if I pass the audit, I'm safe. And honestly, that's a really dangerous mindset to have. Compliance is a baseline. It's not a full shield. And true security, it's going to evaluate what's unique and critical to your business. It's going to go way beyond the checklists. An even more costly mistake is ignoring the findings, right? A lot of times we'll point out this is where your risks are. And sometimes the customer will say, well, we've been fine up until now. So a powerful risk assessment, it's only as good as the follow through. Reading a report and doing nothing is kind of like diagnosing an illness and refusing to get treated. Lastly, overlooking external connections can unravel your security. Vendors, service providers, contractors, anybody who touches the perimeter of your network, if they're weak, you inherit their risk. So a thorough assessment looks beyond your walls and looks at who's also coming in from the outside. If all of this sounds overwhelming, the good news is that you don't have to do everything all at once. You can start small. Even a basic vulnerability scan or a security questionnaire, It's better than doing nothing, and it's going to give you a snapshot of where you stand today. Also, working with a trusted partner is key. Cybersecurity isn't something to DIY. You really don't know what you don't know. A partner will bring structure and experience and also some objectivity to the process that you're trying to accomplish. And then making risk assessments part of your regular planning, just like you wouldn't skip reviewing your financials or preparing your taxes. Don't skip reviewing your security posture. Once a year is a good rhythm for most businesses. And remember that the purpose of an assessment, it isn't to scare you, it's to guide you. It's a roadmap that tells you where to focus. You can spend so that you can spend your resources wisely and effectively. And if your business hasn't had a risk assessment in the past 12 months, you're kind of already behind. Cyber threats evolve fast, and yesterday's solutions, literally yesterday's solutions, won't protect you against today's attacks. I hope you've gotten some good information out of this. I invite you, if you would like to book a call with our team. This isn't an IT task. It's really a business strategy for you and your company. We're building things, right? We don't want someone from the outside to come in and tear it down. And it is really, really easy for that to happen. So if you feel like talking to me or asking some questions, you can leave them in the comments, or you can book a call on my calendar. Just go to itcolorado.com/book a call. During that call, we're going to walk through where your business stands right now. We're going to show you the steps that you need to take to start strengthening your cybersecurity posture. It's really simple. It's practical. It could be the decision that keeps your business safe when others are scrambling. So again, thank you for spending some time with me, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay. Share this with another business owner. We all need to hear it. They all need to hear it. So until next time, I want you to stay secure, stay smart, and we will see you soon.